Happy New Year, everyone. This is my first video of the new year. I want to thank all my viewers for uh, a good start to my year last year. Well, my first year recording last year. Um, like I said, I just want to thank the viewers who've been watching me and welcome any new ones who will follow on the new year. Um, where to begin? Where to begin? So much stuff since I've been one. I caught the Rona, and I went through my whole household, and um, I tried actually when my last couple of videos, I actually had it, but I still have it probably. Still don't feel 100%, and but that I feel a little bit better. I was like, let me start the new year right. I actually wanted to make a video on Saturday because there was so much news that came out that I so this might be a little extra long video, so people who are used to like my somewhere between usually 10 to 20-minute videos, it might go a little bit longer than that. Just an FYI, because there's so much I wanted to talk about. I just didn't feel up to it. So let's begin. And where to begin is the question. No, that's not where to begin. I'm actually going to X this out. Let's Okay. Here we go. That's the one I wanted to go to. So let's start with this crazy article. I saw this and I was just there like, wow, this governor is maybe worse than Cuomo. Such a what's the word I'm looking for? Such a panderer. Where here it goes. White people in New York are told not to attempt to get monoclonal antibody treatment from doctors because Governor Hochul has prioritized it for non-whites. Now, this article and this policy is exactly why I started making videos. This whole, people are like, oh, politics is always about identity and blah, 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 blah. No. This is why I despise identity politics. Because as Puerto Rican, I'm supposed to be a blind supporter of democratic policy. And this was one here where I go, no, this is why identity politics sucks. And this is why it's dangerous, because of this right here. These treatments should be prioritized for the sickest of people, regardless of color. This is not about equality. This is about equity. This is what I always talk about the difference between equality and equity. And here it is. This is about equity, equal outcomes, not about equality, equal access. Okay. Everyone should have a shot to get this medication. Okay. Especially the sickest people. It shouldn't matter the color of your skin, uh, whatever country you were born in, wherever your heritage is from, it shouldn't matter. But this is what you get when you when you prioritize skin color, race, ethnicity. This is what happens. Hold up. I'm sorry. I'm experiencing some lag. Let me stop for 1 second. What a good start to the new year. I'm having lag on my side here. Whole thing, new year, great. So that's what I'm going to say about that. I think it's a disgusting policy. I think it's racist to prioritize race. You should prioritize uh, by sickness, by level of how sick someone is, not this. Like I said, not 100%. So excuse me and excuse the lag. With that being said, this is these are all tied together. Let me see if I can bring this back over here. As you can see here, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she was banned from Twitter. Apparently, here also, Facebook has censored her, and this is nothing. This is very dangerous. You have here. Here's an opinion piece from Rand Paul saying that he's quitting YouTube. And it's like he's tired of, here goes, sure, I can get millions of views on YouTube, but why should I allow anonymous fact checkers to censor my full sourced fact-based content? They don't want to challenge or debate me with opposing views. They just want my silence. Here's another when it comes to censorship. It goes, YouTube and Twitter delete Joe Rogan interview with scientists who helped invent mRNA vaccines. Dr. Malone claimed US is now like Nazi Germany, with society hypnotized to believe in vaccine and extreme pandemic measures. They said you have that, you have here's the problem with what's going on. So, why I showed Marjorie Taylor Greene here on Gab. She's also moved to Gettr. Joe Rogan's moved to Gettr. I have Gettr. I've had Gettr for a while. I still have Parler and all them. I have a preference for Gab. I'm just gonna, I don't have a financial interest in it. I just have a preference for Gab. I like their user interface. I find it more friendly, especially for someone like me who creates content. It's easier for me to share it and build up a viewership as opposed to like Gettr and Parler and all that. But either way, here's the problem. Here's my 2 cents with what's going on with this. The problem is you're creating bubbles. Twitter is a left-wing bubble, and Twitter passes, people think Twitter passes for the real world. That's what's going on. You have, when you're censoring these people, when you suspend, for the most part, the majority of the people who are suspended are people on the right. Now, when you suspend these people on the right and you leave all the crazy people on the left, like, you have Antifa there, you have far left communists. People think because of the heavy-handed approach to Twitter, because they agree with those people on the left, people go, okay, this is accepted thought, this is accepted behavior, and these people on the right are, they're no good, they're evil, they're whatever negative adjective you want to describe to it. So that's what goes on. So now you have all these people who get censored. They'll go on to Gettr, Gab, Parler, whatever, whichever of those platforms. Then they also become bubbles too. You have Rand Paul leaving YouTube, and it's the same thing. What you're going to have is you're just going to have these echo chambers for everyone, that all they're going to do is listen to that one side. And that's the problem with this heavy-handed approach towards censorship when it comes to Twitter, Facebook. Okay, there is no place for dissent. There is no place for opposition. Okay, you don't have to. You don't have to like their um, anti-establishment, um, post. You don't have to. You don't have to like it. But when you can't question the science, then it's not science. It's propaganda. Okay, science is supposed to be able to be questioned. And even then, I'm being careful about what I'm saying. I'm censoring myself because I'm not talking about specifics about what posts got censored and what facts are getting censored. Okay, because I want to just talk about the problem with what's going on with this. um Rand Paul put in his opinion piece that he's talking about stuff that he has researched, facts that he is showing, and it's getting censored on YouTube. YouTube won't allow it. YouTube doesn't allow you to question the scientific, I shouldn't say the scientism, because that's what's basically going on here right now. You don't have real science, you have scientism, science that's become a religion. And this is what's going on as America is losing its way when it comes to faith and religion. It People still need to worship, and they will find something to worship. Okay, um, human beings, we're good at finding idols. Okay, all my Christian friends, you'll understand what I mean by idols. That's what us as human beings, we need an object to worship. And you know what, right now these people who don't have faith in God will have faith in the science, the science, and that's how science is becoming scientism. And if you question, almighty Fauci, if you question the establishment science, then you're wrong, you're evil, you're a heretic. And that's what's going on right now. You can't question this stuff because, you know, it's heresy and haram, as the Muslims call it. You can't question it. And that's wrong. Okay. Then it's not really, then if we can't debate, with facts, and we're just gonna debate on emotions, then we're screwed. Okay, we are in a civil war, cold civil war. We're, in a cultural revolution, as I talk about it in my videos. That's how I usually describe it, because I compare it to the cultural revolution in China. Um, so we need to be careful with this stuff. Because basically we're just creating echo chambers of people. People on the left will not do not get out of the echo chambers, and people on the right will start going deeper into the echo chambers. And why do I say it that way? Because people on the right do consume left-leaning news, but people on the left do not consume right-leaning news. That's why they want to ban, they want to get Fox News kicked off the air. They want to ban Fox News. That's why they're always complaining about the high ratings of Fox News. What should be more disturbing is the ratings with Fox News are so high that even if you combined all the left-wing sources of news, if you combine them into one metric, their ratings still wouldn't equal Fox News. So instead of taking that to heart and going, oh, maybe we should tone down our rhetoric, no, that's, reliable sources is trying to get Fox News banned. Like, really, you know, you're the news, you considered news, and you're trying to get other people to not watch those other news people. Um, but yes, so That's just disturbing to me. Now to the last story that I wanted to touch on, and I think it's um, I think it's funny. I think it's a funny story. I'm gonna tell you why. AOC caught maskless again in Miami drag bar as Omicron cases skyrocket. And you know, I have a friend who said they're independent, but and they don't like AOC, but meanwhile they're like, oh well, it's not the same thing. What happened with Ted Cruz when he took his family to Cancun to escape the cold, and here's AOC maskless in Florida when you know she's pushing for policies of the same policies they have in New York. She wants them countrywide, and here she is, you know, being a hypocrite, which is not, you know, but to me, like my friend was like, "Oh, it's not the same thing as when Ted Cruz went to Cancun with his family," and I go, "Okay, it may not be exactly the same, but in my opinion, they're bad optics. It was bad optics. I'm not going to say that, I'm not here to defend Ted Cruz because it was bad optics. I understand him sending his family. You got the money, you send your family. Hey, wife, kids, go to Cancun, escape the cold. I'm going to stay here because it's my job as a politician to try to get stuff done. Um, and you know, so she's there in Florida. It's bad optics while New Yorkers are waiting hours in line to do tests. Granted, she's just a congresswoman, House representative. There's not much she could do, but she could help. I know she likes to help. I know things that I'm not going to say that she hasn't done stuff to help, but this be time to, let's say, collect hand warmers and stuff like that. You have people waiting in line to get tested. You could um, give the people the hand warmers and stuff like that to help them while they wait in line. Because I had a friend of mine. They put that um, testing ended at 7 or something like that, and she was waiting in line already for like 2 or 3 hours to get tested, and um, she basically said that they told, instead of telling people, okay, if you're at this point in the line, you need to go home because once you get to this point, we're not going to test you because it's going to be too late. No, people waited there and then they sent people home saying we're not going to test anymore. That's ridiculous. Okay. Now, um, what I tell these people is, look, listen, if you could go other places that aren't convenient, like if you have a car and you could drive somewhere less crowded, go there to get tested. Nobody says you have to go. For the most part, these tests are free. Well, free-ish. You understand what I mean by free? They don't have to pay out of pocket. Usually it's taxpayer or your insurance that's paying for it. It's taxpayer money or your insurance that's paying for it. Um, but yeah, it's bad optics. She cannot criticize Ted Cruz anymore. She can't call him Cancun Ted or Cancun Cruz, okay, because she's maskless in Miami. That's it. They're both bad optics. Um, but this is the whole thing. This is what happens when you nitpick and you criticize. The only reason I criticize AOC in this sense is because she was one of Ted Cruz's biggest critics. And here she is basically doing the same thing, going to, and it's worse in her sense because you pushed for these policies, these, you're in favor of these draconian policies, and then you go to Florida to enjoy not just the weather, but to enjoy the freedom. You're enjoying around walking, going around maskless that you can't do in New York. I'm pretty sure, well, they don't check vaccine passports, so I'm pretty sure you're not there showing your app around when you go to these places. So you're enjoying the policies of the red states without, without coming to the conclusion, maybe we shouldn't be doing this stuff. Now, she may change her mind, and maybe she'll start, so, she'll see how, different it is living in Florida and say, yo, we should do this stuff in New York. I'd love for that to happen, but I extremely doubt that's what she's going to do. All right. So, like I said, so much news to talk about. I didn't know what to narrow it down with, but that's all the. I mean, everything that's happened in a nutshell. What's been going on, and the biggest threat is the censorship, because at the end of the day, if us in this country, if we're gonna go into different bubbles and never meet, then we can't discuss stuff. It's always going to be a fight. And we need to find a way to come together in that sense. We need to be able to discuss our differences. If not, gotta stop calling people in this new year, stop calling people homophobic, transphobic. Look, look what happened with Harry Potter and, her J.K. Rowling not being invited because of the fact that her stance on trans. And she basically straight out said that probably, was it Grindelwald and Dumbledore probably had some sort of homosexual relationship. Okay. So she's not against gay people. She just wants to protect women. And this, that's the whole problem. The whole problem is, if you go, you don't want, a trans female participating in female sports, you're a transphobe. No, I want to, there's a reason we separate male and females in sports, because females cannot compete with males. That's just the biology of it. And just because a guy transitions to a female, to identify as a female, his genes are still male, and those will still express themselves in sports. So that doesn't make me a transphobe. It just makes me a protector of women. That's it. So we need to, you don't have to accept behavior. You don't have to accept, tolerance doesn't mean acceptance. And what we've lost sight of tolerance versus acceptance. You could tolerate, you don't have to like something. You could tolerate it, which means you don't like it, but you tolerate people doing it just because the fact that, but no, they want you, you have to accept it. That's what they want now. They want to, they've gone way past tolerance, and now it's like you have to accept these behaviors. And what are we going to do? Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Like I said, there's a lot to talk about. There's so many other things I wanted to address, but I think that's the main thing that's going on with, let's see where this cold civil war goes. And let's see, we have a couple of days to the, January 6th, which is going to be an interesting video too. So I'm the Ray Rican. You can follow me here on YouTube and Rumble. I'm still, until YouTube bans me, I will post videos. But I'm not going to fear so much about the censorship, because they ban me. I actually have more followers on Rumble than I have on YouTube. So if for you people who follow me just on exclusively on YouTube, I I implore you guys, sign up for Rumble and uh, subscribe to me there on Rumble also. So like that, if YouTube ever decides to, nuke my channel, you can still catch my content there. And you can interact with me on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, uh, Getter, Parlor, uh, Clout Hub, all of them. I'm on all of them. Locals. All right. That being said, have a good one.